Hello everyone, welcome back. It's been absolute ages since we've done Dear Crone Wrapped, but in our defense, we've dropped a ton of videos since then that you should check out, but it is time to get back to our main event, the Crone. To those of you just joining us for the first time, each month, more or less, we comb over the write-ins to our advice column, Dear Crone, and select a few of them to share with a wider audience. If you haven't checked out the Volthakan Times yet, I don't know how much more subtle I can be. Let's get started. Our first guest is anonymous and struggling with direction in life. 25, going on 26, a little baby, and world traveler and unsure what comes next. Now, quite honestly, I have the very unpopular opinion that what your heart wants matters a lot less than your wallet, so financial factors are a main concern here. If you're broke, yes, go get a job, but if you're financially self-sufficient, there is an in-between between a 60-hour work week and just living like a bohem. Personally, I think there's a chance that you're avoiding something, and that means that you're in good company because I changed countries before finding out what I wanted to do in my life. However, I figured it out by doing something. I was in a lab job on a track I rapidly discovered I wanted no part of. So I'll say it again, if you are financially stable, start low stakes. A job that gives you structure throughout your week, introduces you to new people, and plays into your strengths. It could even be volunteer work. If you've been to 30 plus countries, you have something interesting to say, I promise you. My first thought was museum work, but a cafe, a gym, all of that would be good for you. You'll learn more by doing than by meandering. Up next is another Anon who has the most bizarre medical situation I've ever read about. One kidney later, a child has received a second chance at life, and mom and dad are being assholes. Tale as old as time? I cannot fathom why your mom is like this. Actually, I can, but it's irrelevant. The Crone has a very common theme of just because they spawned you doesn't mean their opinion matters. And if you're donating a kidney of all things, their opinion on your life only matters if they're supporting you or trying to help you. I always say I dislike recommending the most drastic option, but what you're presenting here is very much an excuse for low contact. The support you're seeing from your husband, your granny, your friends, that's what you're supposed to be receiving. Everything else is just noise. Our first named write-in today goes by Confused, and that's understandable considering they love their dad, but he's difficult. Now, I'm gonna say something unpopular, and then I'm gonna offer my advice. Maybe this is a phase. I doubt it, but maybe somewhere in between kissing John, Paul, and George, you're gonna realize you're not that into Ringo, and that's okay. Something doesn't need to be permanent to be meaningful. Look at my parents' marriage. But seeing as you both love each other, you've done all you have to do. Your father might come around to it, or he might not. You keep being who you say you are. This doesn't mean going wild. Stay safe, stay clever, but you're out of the closet. He decides what happens next. It sucks for now, but you have to operate on the assumption that he'll come around. And look, this is a change for him too. He had an idea for how you were going to live your life, and now you're saying you're going to do things a little differently. Give him a sec is all I recommend. On the opposite end of the emotional spectrum, we have Jim Crushed, who has fallen in lust with their gym partner. And I say lust because I don't know if you can say love while admitting to countless strangers on the internet that you're gooning to him. Call me a cynic, I guess. If you're dying and he's not interested, it might be time to work out alone. And I recommend that regardless because I'm so sick of watching multiple people occupy the same piece of equipment for half my fucking workout. What you're not gonna do is pine, okay? You're better than that. He gave you his answer, and if he changes his mind, he will update that Google form at a later date. Until then, focus on your protein and fiber intake. Onward, it's time for another round of who the fuck cares what your parents think. Unless they're willing to back up their input with cash, you don't engage. Let me put it this way. Do you know how often my father asks if I have a boyfriend? Let me rephrase that. Do you know how often my father accuses me of having a boyfriend? Every phone call, every 10th text message. It's like him asking how's the weather in Vancouver. It's small talk. You respond accordingly. You know how to appease them, you just don't want to do it, and that's completely understandable, so ignore them. Okay, now we have On the Borderline, who is, well, close to losing it. I understand you want to hop on a train and start a new life. I'm telling you now that professional help is cheaper. I get it, you don't like therapy for incredibly vague reasons, but what does your father's condition have to do with you speaking to a professional? You guys write to the Crone and me because we're fairly straight shooters. You know, mine has a bit of a curve, but that's irrelevant right now. Sometimes you just need to hear it from someone else. You want to get your shit together? Fantastic. Nan sounds like she's in a different country, so not answering the phone seems like a great start. Friends who don't show up are a waste of time, so stop investing in them. And go see a professional. Worst case scenario, you hop on that train anyway. What do you have to lose? Okay, Volthakai, let's check in with Gay and Afraid, who's facing a serious life issue. Now, you're facing a drastic life decision, and you can't just silently go along with this because you'll end up ruining both his and your life. You need to tell him. Not in some grand coming out story, not in some this is who I am and you have to be okay with it, but in a I love you and I'm gay. He may freak out. He will most likely be hurt and confused, but the solution to this is not lesbian wife and a side chick. That's not feasible for you, especially considering he planned on being monogamous with you for the rest of your lives. This isn't easy, but the direct method is the only available option. What I will say is have a friend in the loop, have a place to stay, and trust him to be the man you love even when faced with this. For our final question this evening, we have So Long But What Now, who is curious what to do when only half the members of the relationship have grown in the past 15 years. You ask yourself, do they support or share my values, goals, directions, or ambitions? And when the answer is no, you leave. You can't be more afraid of being alone than being with an incompatible partner. It's shitty, but it's simple. Think about it like this. If you're watching this right now and you're 35, could you handle a partner who is mentally 20, but physically your age and is unlikely to catch up? Of course not. Breakups do suck, but they have the benefit of freeing you from the wrong person. I'm telling you now, ultimatums will not make him grow if the past 15 years hasn't already. Do not tie yourself to this individual, for your sake. Thank you so much for your patience and for joining us today. If you're a member of our Eldritch or Witch tiers, or you've tipped us on PayPal and Ko-Fi, thank you for supporting our content. If you love this video, like, subscribe, and consider becoming a paid viewer to get early access videos, exclusive voting rights for upcoming content, BTS posts, short story content, and join our Discord. I'll see you next time.